Hello everybody and welcome back to Modded Minecraft with Red. We have a lot ahead of us today, so let's go ahead and jump right in. I am pretty much recording this immediately after the last episode because I want to get this build completely done. So let me go ahead and clean up my inventory just a little bit here because I was doing a little bit of digging as well, as I'm sure you guys can see. So make sure that we are on furnace only. We are. We'll go ahead and get this stuff ground up and taken care of. Excellent. There we go. Put the coal away. And this episode, we are going to need something to control the reactor downstairs. I kind of touched on it last episode about how we don't want to be, down there all the time turning the reactor on and off depending on our power supply. We want something that is going to do it automatically for us. That's what we're working on this episode here. So for that, we are going to dive into Computercraft. There we go. And for this build, we're going to want the advanced monitor. Now the advanced monitor is easy enough to make. It is just 8 pieces of gold and a glass pane. We don't have any glass panes, so that's a pain in the glass. Oh, the puns, Red, they're terrible. There we go. And there is our advanced monitor. Well, we're going to need those as well. How about a computer, Red? There we go. That's just going to take 7 gold ingots, a glass pane, and a piece of redstone for the advanced computer. As for the monitors, yeah, we're going to need more of those as well. In total, we're going to need 12 of these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Excellent. To go along with this, we are going to want a couple of wired modems. That's easy enough. That's just regular stone surrounded, or a piece of redstone surrounded by regular stone. That's easy enough. We're going to need 3 of those. And then we're going to need some of this network cable, which is 4 pieces of stone with a redstone in the middle to get 6 of them. We're going to need quite a bit of this stuff, so let's grab almost 2 stacks worth. That should be plenty. So, where are we going to set this up? Well, we are going to set this up right back here. I hollowed out this nice little spot for it, and this will work out great for what we need it to do. So, what we're going to do now is take our advanced monitors, and we are going to build them up in a 3x4 fashion. Just like so. Before we cover this one up, this is actually where we are going to place our advanced computer. Right down there. And you know what? We're not. Because I want to be able to access this a little bit more easily than I'd be able to access it from that point. So let's go ahead and fill this in. Put down our last monitor there, and we'll break this out so that we can hop down here in Ender Mini form. And there we go. There is our advanced computer. So now, what are we going to do to this? Well, I did not write this program myself, guys. I cannot give that credit. This is an old program that Direwolf20 actually created quite some time ago. I have used it for quite a while, and then another gentleman, I believe, I forget what his name was, but I do believe it was another gentleman, went ahead and rewrote the program slightly, changed it so that you could add more turbines, more reactors, and just kind of filled in the spots where Direwolf kind of lacked on some of the programming. So, it still runs off of the basic Direwolf20, the Direwolf20 button API that he wrote. So, in order to get that, we are going to do a paste bin get And make sure, if you want this, guys, to pause this video here. I will give you a brief moment to write this down, but it is going to be capital X, capital B, lowercase b, capital M, capital U, capital Y, capital N, N. Okay, and that's the code to get the button API, and we are simply going to name this button. So pause the video here, guys, if you want to write that down. That is for the button API. Alright, so there we go. We're going to connect, we're going to get it, and it is downloaded as button. Now, for the reactor, we are going to do the same thing, only we are going to back up, and this one is going to be 0, 9, Z, G, F, J, capital G, V, and we are going to name this reactor. And there we go. So those are the two paste bins that you need in order for this entire setup to run. Again, take a moment here if you want to pause the video so that you can write these down. And cool. So now that we have that, we can actually run button, if we can spell it. And we can't run it yet because it's not connected to anything. Yeah, sure, the computer's connected to it, but with the code, you actually have to go in here and edit it. So let's edit button real quick. Spell it right, Red, the first time. Come on. So all of you guys, depending on where you put this advanced computer, will have to change this first line of code. It was written to where the computer was directly underneath the monitor, and that's why you have the peripheral.wrap top. Well, that's fine if you want to have it underneath. You guys can totally do that, and then you don't have to edit the code for this section because it'll just automatically do it, no problem. However, I want easier access to it without having to tear up my floor. I want it just in the wall off to the side so that I can access it should there be any issues that arise. So what I am going to do is I'm going to come over here and I am going to edit this to read peripheral.wrap right. So that means that it is going to search to the right hand side of the computer block for the monitor. If you were to put top, it would search on top of it. If you were to put bottom, it would search underneath, left, left, right, right, and I believe it's front and back to search in front of the computer or behind the computer. So there we go. That is the only thing in here that I am aware of that we need to correct at this point in time. As you can see, there is a lot of code here. I don't understand all of it myself, but you guys can go ahead and feel free to download it and play with it yourself. So we're going to go ahead and hit Control. We are going to save. Then we're going to hit exit, and now we should be able to run button. And nothing's showing up. Well, why isn't it showing up? Well, that's because it's not connected to anything. If we even try to run reactor, a nil value. Well, that's why we have the modems and the networking cable. It's time to make ourselves a computer network here. So back down into Ender Mini form we go. I'm going to shift right click to hook up the modem. And then we follow this trench that I dug in between episodes all the way down over to here. We're going to fall down here, come over, and if we look when we end up, after all of this zigzagging, we are on the back of our vibrant capacitor bank. Cool. So let's go ahead and place that there, but we are also going to need one more. And where are we going to run that? Come on, fly, Ender Mini. You can do it. Well, we are going to break through the wall right here. And we are going to run this along the ceiling. As I said, I didn't get it completely set up for you guys, but got it mostly set up. And actually, we will run it straight into the top here. Well, there's a problem with that, though. We have nothing to access here. If we take a look around, we don't have anything to access. Well, let's fix that. Let's come up here. We know this thing is drained because, you know, it's hooked up to the capacitor bank over there. It hasn't been on. So we don't have to worry about losing any energy. Come up here to the main room. And we are going to bring up Big Reactors again. And we need a reactor computer port. Reactor computer port is just 4 reactor casings, a redstone repeater, some redstone, and a little bit of gold. There we go. Let's get our repeater, which the system doesn't know how to make, so let's teach it while we're here. Redstone torches. You already know how to make sticks. So there's that. Redstone repeater. Cool. Now it knows how to make that, and we won't have to worry about making repeaters ever again, let alone redstone torches. Now we can come in here, drop the repeater in there, and craft up a repeater for us. Excellent, thank you. And there's the computer port. Awesome. So let's head back downstairs to the reactor here. And we will come up here, and we were going to take this block right here, so let's go ahead and right click that, or right click it, yeah, geez, Red, break that out and replace it with our computer port. So as you can see, the texture came back, everything's fine, it's happy being right there. The reactor is just fine having it right there. So now what we're going to do is we will take our 3rd wired modem, place it there, and now we can start placing our networking cable. We're going to go all the way up here, right into the groove, and since we're here, we will go ahead and turn that on, and as you can see, peripheral reactors, reactor 0 connected to network. Cool. So it's recognizing that, hey, I am connected to a reactor. Well, that's exactly what we were hoping it would do. So now we'll come down here, we'll place these, we will right click this, and it's saying, hey, I'm connected to a, capacitor bank named 0. So cool. Those 2 are online. Let's bring it all the way back up here. And now we just run it all the way back to our computer. If we can get it to actually... There we go. One more. Excellent. Now we start coming out this way. And up. To here. We can run it back. Like that, around the corner, and all the way down to our computer, where we connect it up like that, and give this right click. There we go, it is now completely connected. So, whoops, didn't want to do that. Let's break that one out and put down the right one. There we go. So now, if we get back into our regular form, get rid of those particle effects, now we can come in here, and if we run reactor, it will search, and there it is. You can see right now we are using 1256 RF per tick, Energy storage is 89% full. The reactor is off. How much RF we are generating, which is 0 RF per tick right now because the reactor is off. Core temperature 20 degrees Celsius. Fuel use 0 millibuckets per tick. And this is in automatic mode. Well, we can switch this into manual mode if we right click on manual. How's that? That cool touchscreen, huh? So we can turn the reactor on and off from here, which there it goes, kicking on, and it is showing us, how much RF it was creating. Again, it happens so fast. We can also change the fuel rods and how far they're inserted, which will also throttle the reactor. We can either do it by tens or we can do it by increments of 1 with the plus and minus button. Direwolf did a really, really, really nice job with this API for this button. I really enjoy it. That's why I always come back to it and have it saved. So there is one other thing that we do need to finish though. So if we do a control, press hold control and T together, that terminates the program. We need to edit this though. We need to edit the reactor program. So if we come in here, and every time we do something, we're going to have to edit this program. But it's not that hard, guys. I know it looks like a lot, but trust me, it's very easy. And right here, this is the only number that we need to worry about, really, in our reactor. This is the number that you guys will only have to worry about. Num capacitors equals 3. This is how many capacitor banks you have connected to your network. We do not have 3. We have 5. So we're going to change that to 5. And I, personally, this turn on at and turn off at is the power level. So right now this is saying when you drop down to 50% power in the capacitor banks, turn on. And when you reach 90% power, turn off. I don't want that. I want it to run a little bit longer on those capacitor banks so that, we get the full use out of them. I'm going to set this down to 10%. So at 10% they will turn on. However, I'm going to lower this because our reactor puts out so much power that if it turns off at 90%, we're going to be wasting fuel because it'll still be generating power, but it has no place for that power to go. So I'm going to, for the time being, turn it down to 85%. That number may end up going lower, but for right now, let's turn it off. You know what? Let's go down to 80%, just to be on the safe side. That way we are getting the maximum out of our fuel as possible. And again, that may change up a little bit, just so that, the reactor is turning on and off and we are getting the maximum potential efficiency out of this reactor. So hit control and save, control and exit. Now, one last thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new program. To do that, that is very simple. We are going to edit and call it startup. Go ahead and reboot the system. Edit startup. There we go. Now it created a new program called startup. And we are going to do a shell.run, open parenthesis, reactor. Close the parenthesis, close the, open parenthesis, open quote, reactor, close quote, close parenthesis. So now, when we control save, and then control exit, we can do, just like a regular computer, we can do a dir, and we can see that we have OpenP, ROM, button, reactor, and startup. Those are all the programs that are in this computer. So if we now do a reboot, it will shut down, it'll start back up, and it will automatically restart the reactor program. How cool is that, guys? So now every time we come back into the server, or I come back into the server, if this is running or whatever, or isn't running, it will just automatically reboot the system and restart it. And like I said, it will shut down the reactor at 90%. That's why it's not online right now. We're at 99%. And it will turn it off, or I'm sorry, it'll turn it back on at 10% to refill those capacitor banks. Let's go ahead and take a look downstairs real quick at what this looks like now that it is completely finished. We come down here. You can see that we got the wires going across, and that's holding power like nobody's business. But then again, at this point in time, we're really not using a whole heck of a lot of power. That will change. That will change very, very soon. For now, I'm just going to block this up with a little bit of cobblestone here, because I will go through and tidy this place up, get it looking a little bit better than what it currently is. But yeah, overall, guys, we are not using all that much power. As you can see, you know, this is slowly draining out. That's why we're not draining anything from the capacitor banks over there, because we're emptying out the reactor buffer currently, because there was a buildup in there. If we come over here and we look, you know, we're not using any power, very little power out of that capacitor bank. Even if we come over here and we take a look at our capacitor bank, this basic capacitor bank, this is completely full, putting out 1000 RF per tick. You know, not a whole heck of a lot, but you know, we don't have anything running. That's going to change, guys. Like I said, this is all in the process of getting away from using our transmutation table back here and sort of cheesing stuff in. You know, we may do that for like cables and stuff like that for applied energistics, but as far as ores and ingots and stuff like that, I want to get away from this. I want to get a little bit more legit, as it were. That thing is great for starting out when you need resources, but now we have the resources to get a lot more resources. And that's what we're going to do. So, with that, guys, we'll go ahead and start putting this junk away that we've collected in our inventory. Just go ahead and go right down the line. There we go, and we will also work on getting this stuff taken care of and a part of the ME system as well. I'll probably have to come up with a location to store all of those barrels in and then hook them up to the network. So I will think about that in the meantime on where I want to put that stuff. So put that in there. And again, all of our nodes in here are doing great. We still have room for 4 more, 5 more. So if I come across any nodes in my adventuring in between episodes, I'll definitely pick those up and bring them in. Just so that we have more recharging capability for our wands, our staves, and everything else. But as far as that goes, guys, we are actually ready to move that hungry node. So let's go ahead and see if we can real quick. Oh, let's not do that. Let's actually grab our goggles of revealing. It'll make things a little bit easier. And let's come back up here to the main room. Now, hungry nodes are one of the most powerful nodes in Computercraft. As you have seen, you know, they will eat anything and everything. However, there is one thing that will overwrite the hungry node status. And wow, that one passed close by. Okay. And that is taint. That's why I was rather pleased yet slightly upset that we have this taint biome so close. It's only some 200 meters away and closing in. That's not good. I don't want it to close in. I want to try and combat it so that, it will stay back here and even possibly eradicate it once we are done with our use for it. And wouldn't you know, as luck would have it, well, we've got a taint swarm after us. So let's go ahead and get rid of them. There we go. And we don't want that stuff in our inventory right now. Let's get our backpack out. Because holding on to taint stuff is not good. It will give you taint. But if we take a look, we have a tainted node right here, which is awesome. Because a tainted node will actually speed up the process at which the other node becomes tainted. And that's exactly what we want, guys. We want that other node to become tainted so that it will... Ow, taint poison. Not fun. So that it will no longer be a hungry node, and it will not, continue to consume. So, we're going to go ahead and kind of try and make a spot for this. This tainted soil is such a pain to get rid of. There we go. Let's go ahead and see if we can break up some of this fibrous taint. There we go. That helps a bit. And we got a taint chicken. Yay. Another taint ball for us, thanks. Not that we actually needed that. So let's make sure that we have a decent sized area for this. Because remember, we move stuff in a 5x5 block now. So it's going to need some extra room. There we go. And get rid of that fibrous taint real quick. So there we go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, if we kind of clear this out just a little bit more. Probably go across to here. Rusted taint, yummy. Go ahead and get rid of all of that. Well, that's not exactly what I was going for, but it works. Okay. Like I said, not what I was going for, but it works. Cool, so now we have plenty of room. So let us go ahead and we will grab our teleposer here. We will kill that blob. Let's grab our teleposition focus and our button. We will set the teleposition focus to right there. And let us go see what we can do to get this hungry node over to this tainted node. Real quick before we end the episode. So we come back here, run into a tree that, decided to wait a minute before rendering. Alright, so we are going to go down here, and let's see if we can't get underneath this thing. Come on, work with me here. There we go. We should be pretty much directly underneath this thing. Going over. There we go. We'll throw our teleposition focus in, place the button, and poof. There it goes. So now, let us try to get up out of here. Come on. Come on, you can do it. I know you can do it. You've done it before. Let's try and dig a small little trench here. There we go. Ha ha ha. Nope, come on. There. Come on. There we go. There we go. Fly away. Excellent. Alright, and it looks like, yep, it is open. So, we're going to want to close that off real quick, which is not that big of an issue. Let's come back here. And we will grab just a little bit. Well, actually, we don't even have to grab just a little bit. We can actually clear this whole thing up right now. Let's go ahead and grab our obsidian back. There we go. And I'll worry about cleaning the rest of that off camera. Let's come over here and make sure that this thing stays, or it doesn't eat the entire world over there. First, let's make sure that it also stays chunk loaded, because if it's not chunk loaded, it's not going to do anything. So let's come down here, make a chunk loader real fast. There we go. Need a chunk loader. There we go. And cool, we already had the crafting table for it, or enchantment table. So there we go, there's our chunk loader. And let's hit up the chunk boundaries so that we can see what the heck we're doing. Let's fly right over here. Oops. There we go, and of course I would place this right on the border of a chunk. Go figure. So we'll go ahead and, yep, that'll work. So let's come up here and we will close that off like so. There we go. So now that's closed off, and it will not suck anything else up, but being in such close proximity with that tainted node, this entire biome here will slowly start tainting this node. And as it taints the node, it will become, well, a tainted node. And when it becomes a tainted node, it will therefore overwrite the hungry status of that node, and it will no longer consume the world, which is awesome. There we go. We can see that, you know, our Hungry node is in the middle there somewhere of those chunks that are being loaded. So that's all well and good. Everything's loaded up and we're out of here. So we will check on that in the next episode, see how it goes, how it's tainting up for us. If you like this episode, make sure that you hit that like button and let me know, because not only do I appreciate the likes, but it you know, lets me know that you actually did like the episode and that you do want to see more of this content. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification icon next to the subscribe button that lets you guys know when the newest episodes of Minecraft come out, or even my LSPDFR series, or anything else that I decide to put up. Also, follow me on Twitter at Irish Red Gaming. Also, check me out on Facebook over at Irish Red Gaming on Facebook as well. So, until the next video, guys, I hope you have a great one. I hope, you know, this video has, you know, been entertaining and interesting for you guys as well. I know I enjoy making this content for you guys, and I hope you guys are learning something as well. But until the next one, guys, take it easy, and I will talk to you then. See ya.